What the heck?
Oh god.
What?
It's like cookie clicker nightmares.
What the
Popularity of cookie clicker knows no bounds.
WTF, Japan.
Oh, yes. Welcome to PrinnyCast Roundtable, a casual weekly show where we talk about what we've been up to and the various other gaming-related stuff of the last week. We're your hosts. I'm Chris. This is Grover.
Hello.
This is Mike.
Hello.
And Edna may be chatting with us. She's been kind of lazy lately.
Gosh.
Okay, it is my fault. You're right, Edna. I'm sorry. It's just, when you're on timetable... Okay. No, alright. No excuses. I'm sorry. You'll see a lot of trailers from the games that came out on one platform or the other, if I'm to believe most of the stuff, because it seemed like a really bad week for game releases, if that's true, what really came out this week. But
Not a lot came out from what I can recall.
Oh, Muramasa Rebirth did come out for the Vita. Sequel to Muramasa. I didn't even know it existed.
What the Vita?
What is a Vita? Sounds like something that you put on your Kia. Anyway.
That was terrible.
What?
It's the new Kia Vita. Okay, now that sounds like a dance craze.
Oh gosh.
So, let's get away from that nonsense. What have you been playing this week, Mike?
Oh gosh, you would ask me first.
I can go to Grover first if you need to collect your thoughts.
Yeah, what have I been playing? I think I've really just been playing World of Warcraft. I haven't really played much else.
Ooh, lack of time or just you're that boring this week?
Partially that, and partially that for the past several months, I've only logged into World of Warcraft to raid. And I haven't played it all past that. And Sydney's finally playing again, so I've had extra reasons to log on. I'm trying to do some things, and so I've just played it more.
To play with you. It's like 1,000 times funner.
It really is. It makes a huge difference. And I mean, I could have always pulled people from the guild to play, and that's another thing is there's a few of us that are starting to get together and do extra things in the game outside of raid. So that's part of it too. But I think I've really just kind of hit a lull in my willingness to play other games right now. It's really weird. I'm just not interested. Like I am. There's games that I'd like to play, and I'll start one and I'll play it for maybe 30 minutes, and I'll just be like, and I'll stop. So I don't know.
That's exactly where I've been for about the last year or better. So
yeah, it's really hard to pick up and stay with the game anymore. It's just odd. I've never had that issue.
Well, all I did on Final Fantasy 14 was just do my soldiery runs. I really just kind of put that on the back burner for now, and then I played some Kerbal Space Program because they're talking about a patch that will actually do the beginnings of the campaign in the game where you have a limited amount of money, and if you fail a mission, you could potentially lose everything and have to start all over again. So for the first time ever in the game, you could actually lose the game permanently, or start completely over. Which some people are like, oh, finally, and I'm like that too. But then there's just like you could lose hundreds upon hundreds of hours of work. Mostly it's just been playing more of the Tynan. I've got 1 million power now, and the game's starting to slow down considerably now because now you're in the higher levels.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, other than that, that's all I've been doing. But writing, that has nothing to do with games.
Well, while you were talking, I remembered something that I had been playing. It's the only other thing I've played besides WoW, and I now actually have a better understanding. I can't believe I forgot. The reason I haven't played very much else is because I have been so focused on trying to beat Faster Than Light, and I finally did. I finally beat that game.
Congratulations.
That shit is no joke.
It was so hard.
Hey, you need to do it with the rest of them and all the rest of the ships.
Yeah, I was on the edge of my seat that whole fight. I was like, oh, it's going to happen. It's going to go. And I had managed to do really, really well in my first quadrant. Like, I did so well that I had enough money to actually buy the cloaking device before leaving, which is really a lot of credits to do. So I was able to do that, and anytime during the end of the game, the enemy ship started powering up his super move, I'd wait until he launched and then cloaked. So not only were his weapons not recharging after that, he missed me with his super attack. So that seems to be the best strategy for that game, honestly.
Yeah,
so
if you don't have the cloak, you're in serious trouble against that final boss.
It makes the game so much more difficult without cloak.
That game is torturous. It's one of the most torturous games I've ever played.
It is, definitely.
I mean, if anybody's ever watched my Game of the Week stuff for it, you see me, I freak out a couple times. I only played it for 7 games. Recording one game, I went berserk because I was just like, everything was fine. I just had a random battle and lost. Went from full health to ship blown up, and I just raged.
And that can happen. I mean, you could be pitted up against a ship that... It's like the game is built around countering. You have to be able to counter what your enemy has with what you have. And it's in those random scenarios, you're just not prepared. The only one you can really prepare for is the very, very end fight.
It did the worst thing. I think it blasted my shields. It shot a missile. The missile hit my shield broom, caught it on fire, and caused a hole at the same time. So I was basically shields.
Yeah, that's difficult. difficult to recover from without sending
there is
like
no
everybody.
What have we been playing, Chris? Because I think, was that it? Or was it? I can't remember.
Yes. So yeah, the usual Congregate stuff, and of course tying in as usual. And then I played and beat not one, but 2 games this week.
Holy cow.
I'd heard so much about the unique story approach to Spec Ops The Line, I wanted to go through it myself. And while there was plenty of issues with the game, it's actually a game I'll probably play through again just to see how the choices you make can affect things with it. It's not often a game. I mean, they'll pull twists and turns on you in all sorts of games anymore. It's like something they're trying to do to the point that it's like movies where you're almost expecting them more often than not now, and you can see a lot of them coming. But whether you see this one coming or not, and granted, there's a lot of other games that's done similar storylines. One of the Call of Duty games actually did something kind of similar to it, but I think this one did it far, far better. All in all, I think it was a fine specimen of how a story actually outweighed the gameplay. And the other game was probably fueled by my recent Windforge playing, which I'll probably get back to eventually too, but all the steampunk stuff. Now, Damnation got a lot of really bad reviews and ratings when it first came out, and I can see why, because the quality for it was pretty bad considering it was released in like 2009. But when I found out it was an expanded indie game based off of an old Unreal mod, and Unreal 2004, I mean, it's not aged very well, but the majority of this game was made as a mod off of that game. So I'll give them a little bit of props for that. A little bit of forgive the shortcomings. Still, a lot of agitating stuff about it, a lot of glitches, but so many of those moments would be so perfect for Prinny plays. I'll probably keep it on my hard drive a little bit longer, just in case I finally get around to doing some more of those. But I did play it all the way through and didn't feel too disappointed. And what more can you really say about games anymore where you can play through something and not feel, well, that was a waste of time? Because it seems like we're running into those more and more.
Yeah.
And then just for the heck of it, I also started Quest Run and Dustalazian Tale last night. I've had Dustalazian Tale for like a year. It's been installed on my computer, ready to go on Steam for about a year, and I'm finally getting around to playing it.
I think I actually have 2 copies of that. I have it on Xbox, and I think that wasn't it in one of the Humble Bundles at some point?
Yep.
Okay, so I probably do have 2 then.
Good solid game. I don't know why it took me so long to get around to it. It's kind of like Muramasa and like a 2D Devil May Cry if you have to go that route. But so that was, I feel like I gibbered more than I jabbered. But that was pretty much what I played this week. And so our tip top. Okay. So our simple topic is one that bears actually a little bit of talking about, because I think this is an example of where Nintendo is going wrong. And recently they revealed Mario Maker at E3. And while it was hardly the showstopper of the whole affair, because make your own Mario levels, that's kind of a neat gimmick, but you got a new Zelda coming out, you've got all this great Smash Brothers news, and you've got that out of nowhere Splatoon that came out, so Mario Maker kind of, that's cool, whatever. But still, there's a lot of people excited about recreating their favorite Mario or other platformer levels, or just making something all new, because there's a lot of game makers out there that want to start somewhere, and an engine like this is a nice little way of doing it. Not to mention all of those Mario ROM hacks out there. It's kind of evident that
those psychotically evil Mario levels.
Even though I want to be the guy, you can kind of remake some stuff out of that. But recently, Nintendo stated that they might not allow the sharing of stages online with each other.
Do what now?
What the hell?
That is a horrible idea, not allowing people to share their stages with each other.
That's ridiculous.
That's kind of the whole point of the thing, if you ask me. Their claim is that there's issues with the ranking systems or popularity systems that other games use, like Little Big Planet, that a lot of gems of map makers, gems by, hidden gems, would get lost in the shuffle compared to the more popular stuff that gets all the upvotes.
So their answer is to not allow anybody to do it at all. It's
a horrible excuse, but personally, I think that's code for, quote, we don't know how to stop offensive creations, and we know they're going to be everywhere.
Yeah,
that's probably
there's nothing you can do.
Because I know Nintendo, I know they like to keep a squeaky clean thing. That's why they had such trouble with that art program thing that they had. So I know that's the issue. Ice cream
are not popular as others. That's why we should ban all ice cream.
That's a little bit like it, yeah. So I don't know what they can do about more moderation or whatever this ranking system thing that they're worried about can be fixed, but for them to completely withhold it just reeks of wasting a lot of time and energy on something that could be really great for people and great for them. On the plus side, they did mention that they were highly looking into an intuitive new recreation of the old Mario Paint music editor into the game.
Ooh.
Oh,
that would be
awesome.
Something that would be really getting a lot of attention. That would.
Because to this day, there's still a ton of Mario Paint recreations of songs all over YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, somebody already did tear open the ROM for Mario Paint, take out all the Paint music stuff, and then build another whole new program.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just like, very very popular.
So an update to that would be nice. And last mention was the interest in bringing the game also to 3DS, which sounds like a simple no-brainer idea if you ask me, but only if they keep being able to share each other's levels.
This is one of the few games that I almost want to tell Nintendo, bring it to PC too, because those ROM lovers would go berserk. Everybody would buy it.
Honestly, I don't think it's worth putting out there if we're not going to be able to share levels. It's just not, because that's kind of the point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, if you can't share levels, then don't even bother, especially on PC.
I'll typically buy a Mario game just because it's Mario. I've never had a terrible experience with a Mario game that Nintendo has done.
Yeah, I was going to say,
that Nintendo has done. I've never had a bad experience. I've always enjoyed some aspect of it. But
I don't care what they do, within 20 minutes of them releasing that game, even if they have sharing, because they're going to have sharing, I can't see them not share. They're going to be dick butts everywhere. Dick butt levels everywhere. I mean, there's nothing they can do about it.
It's not going to be worth getting, though, if they don't allow the sharing of levels. Because that's the point. Mm-hmm. Why would you want to build something that only you are going to enjoy? Nobody does that.
On E3, they even talked about it. They're like, that way you could share the levels with your friends. Mm-hmm. Compete against the level. And they say, oh, well, somebody might show something offensive to crybabies, so we can't do that. You guys have to just play the levels by yourself.
I'm not really familiar with Little Big Planet because it's on a system I still to this day do not own, but I don't recall them having a gigantic issue with that.
I don't recall that either.
It may be just because most of the people who did that stuff made awful levels, and it wasn't exactly funny, because there's only so many times you can draw something like that and it continue to be funny for other people to want to bother playing. So you'd rather have something interesting and engaging than something juvenile, and but that's my take on it. That may not be at all what they're thinking. It's just the excuse they're giving is so ridiculously bad. There has to be another reason.
Yeah, I don't believe for a second that they're concerned about the rank. It's just not believable.
Yeah, that's I don't think they care about the ranking. It's the save the poor children. They might see something offensive, and then they'll start smoking crack. I
learned it from you, alright? I learned it from watching you play Mario Maker.
I saw
there's what we call a slippery slope.
I started doing heroin.
Oh, no. Meanwhile, two last little interesting tidbits. Valve has teamed up with ESPN and will be streaming the upcoming Dota 2 tournament on ESPN 3 official channels. So ESPN 3 being the online area of the ESPN network, apart from the television team from ESPN, so it's online only. And I will say it one more time for posterity, ESPN.
I gotta admit that if they had a Dota channel and a League of Legends channel on television, I would probably go watch them. I've got to admit.
There is a lot of stuff on streams just about all the time with some very professional commentators, so...
Hold on, just a second.
You can go nuts. Ooh.
Soda.
I like how our first thought is, he's opening a soda, when in other places I'm like, he's getting a beer. But no, our first thought is, it's a soda.
Naturally. Chromus... What are you drinking?
Mountain Dew.
Oh!
That's because I've never heard you mention beer once in a couple, 6 years I've known you.
That's true.
Now, if it was Andrew, it would be a whole different story. Like, he's drinking a damn beer.
Or am I?
And Chris is too squeaky clean unless you catch him with this little dinosaur jam glass of wine.
Or my screwdrivers, about it.
Those things are dangerous. Don't they get stuck in your throat? Yeah. I had to go there.
That's what I started on. That was the first alcoholic beverage I ever had, was a screwdriver. No beer.
The world does completely now. But yeah, that's always been my favorite drink too.
I didn't say it was my favorite. I said it was my start.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, and remember that no. And remember that Chroma Squad tactical RPG about maintaining your own Sentai superhero team? I wouldn't blame you if you didn't, because it was kind of a Kickstarter thing that we had in the background months and months ago. But apparently Saban, I think I'm pronouncing that right, who bought the Power Rangers franchise back from Disney after they sold it to Disney some time ago, decided that the game was too similar to the Mighty Morphins and offered them a deal. So partner up or no game at all. So not sure what this means exactly for the Kickstarter funded title, but the 6-man team of Behold Studios who are making the game decided this is kind of a win-win opportunity. They're going to get a little extra financing and an official name to boot. So yeah, well, follow us on Twitter at PrinnyCast, and you can contact us with email at PrinnyCast@gmail.com. And so, one more week before my little vacation starts, so we'll definitely be back for one more week.
My little vacation, my little vacation.
Rainbows and Pegasus wings.
I couldn't help it. It had to be done. I took the fall.
We don't know what we're doing, everybody, so we'll see you next time. Maybe we'll be less drunk with Mountain Dew.
See you next time.
See you next time.